For those of you who don't know me, my name is Jodi, and I help Christ-guided women entrepreneurs move from confusion to clarity in their branding strategy and their expression so that they can attract more of and resonate more deeply with the people who need their products and services. So I am going to go ahead and go right into this question here, which is, how do I create more interesting posts in Facebook? Since this is a business group, my assumption around the question is that you want to generate more interest around your product or service. So, oh, by the way, hey guys, if you're attending live, can you just give me a hashtag live? If you're coming back for the replay, a hashtag replay would be really helpful. Right in the comments. Okay, so going back to the question, how do I create more interesting posts in Facebook? Well, we first have to ask the question, for whom are we making these posts more interesting? Now, let me just clarify that my mission here is to share branding principles with you so that you can take them and apply them everywhere across all of your marketing. Regarding the Facebook posts, I am going to provide one suggested strategy. Thank you, Debbie. One suggested strategy, and you know, there's probably several other strategies out there, but this is the one that I'm going to use. It's going to encompass these principles, which I hope that you can benefit from and use them moving forward. So getting back to the question, how do I create more interesting posts? So let's reverse engineer the question. For whom are we making it more interesting? For whom are we making our posts more interesting? So you've probably heard it said that if you speak to everyone, then you're really speaking to no one at all. And when it comes to your branding, this is just so true. And the reason it is so important to determine who your audience is, or who your target market is, your niche, your ideal client avatar, the reason it's so important is because it really affects your messaging. It affects the language that you use when you're speaking to them, the choices of words. It affects your imagery that you use and the character that you put out there. So these are all ways that you can leverage to resonate with your audience. Now, it is it is definitely very common that people come into this and they just don't know who their audience is. And at first that's okay. So just treat your posts, be okay with treating your posts as more of a market research strategy at first, but as quickly as possible you do want to try to niche down and identify your audience. If you can't identify your audience yet, then let's move on to the next thing. Determine what is the problem that you solve. So what are the emotional pain points that people are having that you can help them with? And this leads to a very important branding principle. What you're doing by knowing what the pain point is, what the problem is that you're trying to solve, is that you're getting through to people on an emotional level. And in branding, we call that the hook. So if you're out there and you're trying to promote your business or your product or service, and you're just putting out blanket information that really has no connection with your audience already, then you're just adding cold information to them, and the marketplace is already so cluttered that that people are just not paying attention. See, Neuroscience 101 says when people are bombarded with more information, our brains go into what's called fight or flight. So if they're scrolling through Facebook and they're just being bombarded with more and more information, they're going to go into flight mode and they're just going to keep scrolling. So you want to hook them with an emotion based, phrase or what have you. We'll get more into that. And that is what's going to stop them and get them to resonate or feel like they can resonate with what you're saying, with what your post is. So when you know what that pain point or that problem is that you solve, then you ask yourself, what is the solution? What are you selling them to overcome that pain point or problem? And what you're selling them, don't think of it like your product or your service. It's not your product or your service. Think about the emotionally based solution. For example, I'm a branding specialist. My clients come to me, they're confused because they don't know how to position themselves in a busy marketplace. They're frustrated because all of their marketing efforts, they don't really yield much for them. So what I sell to them isn't just branding strategy. I sell them clarity and confidence. Now, I'll take a more tangible example. Let's say you sell skincare products, and you have one skincare product. Let's look at the problems that your skincare products solve. And I'm speaking for myself because I'm aging. One of my personal problems is enlarging pores. So you may have a skincare product that can take care of my enlarging pores. So what yours does is it shrinks my pores. That's what I want as a consumer. So now that you know that your audience has bigger pores that they want to shrink down, now you kind of know who your audience is, and that's, maybe women in their 30s and up. So now once we've identified that pain point, the solution, and your audience, well, now you can write your post. So your post for your skincare can look something like this. You're going to lead in with that pain point. Are your pores starting to show? Immediately, for me, that gets my attention. Want to shrink them back down? You've provided the solution. Drop an emoji in the comments to find out how. And that is your call to action. It's short, sweet, it gets right to the hook, and it inspires engagement. You're not adding information to the already cluttered marketplace or the Facebook feed. You're simply connecting with people on an emotional level that makes them feel like you understand what they're going through and you can help them solve their problem. So just make sure that after you leave that call to action and people respond, you've got to follow up with them. Now you can use, of course, your own call to action. Maybe your call to action is, DM me to schedule an appointment, or just tell me what your thoughts is on this one thing. It can be anything you want, but the point is you need to leave a call to action. So lead in with your pain point, address the solution, leave a call to action. So that's the gist of it, guys. I hope that helps. I'd love to hear how this works for you. I challenge you to just, put out a post today using these principles and let me know how it works. And if you have any questions about this comment or this content, you can leave them in the comments, and I will certainly do my best to address them later. Also want to ask you guys for a favor, if I may, because I have a goal to grow this group. I want to break the 100-member barrier before the end of June. So if you know anybody, if you feel that this group is benefiting you, it's adding value, can you invite somebody, maybe just one or two people? And this is a safe place where we can talk about our business in the context of our faith, where we can get prayer, where we can network, and of course, I want to do my best to push you ahead in your branding efforts. So I think I'm going to leave it at that. Guys, thank you so much for coming, and I hope to see you again soon.